We got to do the Saints today. Anyways, guys, yeah, it's the Saints. It's late for me, so I'm gonna try to get through this as quick as possible because we all know what the Saints are like. You can't be a brick, guys. Let's get this thing going. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun and Field. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the New Orleans Saints 25-25 roster grades. None of that was right. But anyway, yeah, again, if you have not watched past roster grade videos, I do recommend you go watch the Aura Farm Tennessee Titans roster grades. That is the first one of the 2025 NFL roster grade playlist. That'll get you through what you need to know the first about 7 minutes or so. The only thing that it misses is the fact that, or mostly, is that, again, with like the ranges that'll determine, again, you look at this, but the range that'll determine the overall grade, 234 points is about a C, so, again, that's kind of like a good baseline, not for the Saints, but for many other teams. With that said, though, we will get right into it right now with the Saints quarterback position, and frankly, they have the worst situation in football. I don't really know what the hell they were doing. It wasn't completely their fault. They were probably not, maybe, I don't know, they might have been banking on Derek Carr playing this year, but again, he retired, and for good reason, because, you know, he's probably the best of the worst, or the worst of the best quarterbacks of all time, if I had to guess, something like that. Painfully average overall. I think he might be the most average quarterback in NFL history. But, again, the Saints, they've been on a harsh, slow decline. We'll get more into this when we get in their identity later. But they've been on a harsh, slow decline at quarterback position since Drew Brees left after COVID. But, yeah, Tyler Shuck, I'm going to call him Tyler Show because I think it sounds a little more forgiving for a guy who's not a very forgiving player. He was like my 6th or 5th, something like that, 6th or 7th. I don't think he's that low. Quarterback prospect on my board. It's not because he doesn't have a decent arm, because he's probably the best arm for me, going to be honest, or second best overall arm in the entire draft class. Problem with him is he doesn't have consistent footwork, doesn't have consistent accuracy, and his overall timing last year at Louisville was just simply lacking. Also, them being 25 and being college football since 2018, very concerning the fact that he got better for sure, but just not that much better. Also, his athleticism doesn't jump off the page. I mean, there's a lot of other things that could go on with him about. You can go watch 2025 NFL Draft quarterback prospect rankings. He'll be in that, and I do rant about him a little bit. So if you don't want to watch that, I mean, I don't really blame you. But still, yeah, he's not the greatest situation. Spencer Rattler went 0-6 last year's quarterback, and many people are like, oh, that's not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, there's a lot of other quarterbacks who went 0-6. I'm like, yeah, that is true, but he still wasn't very good. I will say, Spencer Rattler got a lot better towards the end of the season. Again, you look at it overall, he kind of kept them in that game at times against the Bucs in Week 18, but that might be being a little bit forgiving for him. Guys, he went 0-6 and all that. But like, guys, Spencer Rattler's just not the answer. I'm sorry. Like, I liked him a little. Like, I'm like, yeah, this would be a pretty good story considering what happened in Oklahoma and all that. But yeah, he's just not it. Jake Haener's probably worse. He was pretty good at Fresno State in that very fake offense. I mean, I don't know what the hell they were doing there at Fresno State when he was there, but still, they were successful. But again, he was the Saints' backup, like 4th string or 3rd string or something like that in 2023. And then this year, he got a chance to start against the Commanders. I mean, I think they almost came back and stuff. That wasn't when he was out there. He got benched after like the first quarter. Hunter Deckers might be the best option. I don't know, guys. It's gonna be an F though. I didn't want to give them an F, but like, I'm not really too confident in the strengths. I don't know what we're doing here. But I don't think we've used the F tier much, so we're just gonna bump that up to 20, and then that's gonna put it at an F, which is what they should get, because guys, you can't tell me going into the season this is gonna be a quarterback room that'll set you up for success. That is a flat out 0 points, which I'm completely fine at giving because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And with that said, time for a much better output here at the skill position group. All right, looking at the skill positions, we will start out with Alvin Kamara, who might be the best player of this entire roster. Again, I had a pretty good things to say about him. And again, if you watch the offseason short for the Saints, which I think came out like last Wednesday or something, I don't really remember. But Alvin Kamara, who is he and what is he? I mean, you should know by now. He's been like one of the best running backs, or not best running backs, one of the more underrated players in the entire NFL since he came out in 2017. I mean, there was a time probably 2 years ago where he might have been a little bit overrated because you look at him as a rusher those past years, really wasn't that effective. Even last year wasn't very good. But still, as a receiver, he was still pretty productive, and even last year, pretty solid. But again, he had his best season in terms of yards, and again, if he didn't get injured, he probably would have cracked 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. And for a guy, I don't think he'll make the Hall of Fame, but again, if he stays healthy and keeps being productive for, I don't know, another 2 or 3 years, despite him being 29, he might actually be able to get to that. Again, he had earned his extension big time. Best season of his career, in my opinion, last year, despite, again, the 2020 season, his rookie season. Probably better receiving season, maybe overall better, but as a rusher, that was the best we saw him really ever last year. He broke tackles at a clip that I don't think we've seen yet. Yeah, as a receiver, maybe it was a little bit off kilter, but again, he was the engine of his offense after a guy like Chris Olave got injured. And again, he also got injured. I understand that. But guys, Alvin Kamara really proved himself last year after a couple of seasons where you're like, is he really even that good anymore? Outside of that, though, it's kind of rough. Kendrick Miller is a guy that I think might be able to become some sort of serviceable power back. But last year, he was flat out atrocious. He didn't really hit any holes, or didn't really find any consistency into his game. He was very indecisive like his rookie season. We saw a little bit better output in terms of his pass blocking grade, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really watch much of Kendrick Miller last year, pass blocking, but when I did, it didn't look great. So again, I think I'll give it the benefit down to that PFF grade there, but it doesn't always work out there that way. Devin Neal, we'll see what happens. He might actually be able to come to something if they do trade Alvin Kamara. I don't know, that could happen. It depends on how bad they are, but yeah, Devin Neal's a guy that might be able to become a starter at some point this year. I know that might sound a little crazy for a lot of people, but trust me, I think that he does have at least displays power where he could definitely handle that amount of carries. And productiveness-wise, probably not. We'll just have to wait and see on that. And then Cam Akers, who wholly fall off for him. Again, he finds himself on the Saints now as a guy who might not even make this roster. With that said, though, for the Saints running back room, I'm going to give them an A-. That might seem a little bit high for some people, but I'm actually that high on Alvin Kamara. And I do think Kendrick Miller, yeah, that might be a little higher than I think about it. But, nothing on Alvin Kamara, but they don't have the depth, if I'm being honest with you. That's a citation. We don't want that. That'll show up in the description. But yeah, B+. That's what we're gonna figure that out as, because I mean, it's only let's be honest, this depth isn't very good. Again, Alvin Kamara's there. I want to give him a higher grade there, but the depth just isn't there. All right, wide receiver time. Chris Olave, I'm actually scared that he might get decapitated this year because this guy has gotten 5 concussions in the past 2 years. That's an exaggeration. But yeah, it's bad. He creates separation with the best of them in the NFL. I think he was 3rd or 4th last year overall when he was on the field. But again, that didn't really count because he only played 8 games. Again, we need the stat count there. But with that said, in terms of what he actually is, he's a true number 1 receiver. But again, it really doesn't matter because if he doesn't, again, I don't know why he hasn't retired yet. If I'm Chris Olave, I'm out. I'm out of there. It's been my experience. Get out of there, bro. Anyway, though, their second guy is Rashid Shaheed, who I fully expect if he has a huge first 8 weeks, he'll be gone as well. Because this is a guy who, again, yes, I understand last year probably didn't have the greatest. Again, he made some big plays. Again, he had that huge touchdown in week 2. Probably wasn't as consistent as he was in 2023. I don't really ever think he'll be a guy they're gonna really count on to be a 1,500 yard. 80 catch receiver, or not even 90 catch receiver. Again, he definitely has huge big play potential, one of the fastest players in the entire NFL, just gameplay speed as well. And also, again, he's so versatile, you can use him in a lot of different ways. I don't think his route tree is really that great. That's definitely something he'll definitely have to work on. But again, he's coming into a contract year here, or not even contract year. He's eligible for an extension and stuff. This is a year that I think he could absolutely break out. I don't know if the Saints would want to keep him because if he has a big first half, they maybe even get a second round pick out of him. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Rashid Shaheed, very interesting option. But again, coming off that injury, we don't really know what he'll do right now. I don't really know if he's a true number 2 receiver, but again, pretty interesting guy there. Brandon Cooks is so old and so just not good anymore. His best season, really looking back, again, the last time he actually was a good player was probably 2021, if I had to say. And then the past 3 years, I mean, he was pretty serviceable in 2022, but definitely wasn't the same number 1 guy. And then the past 2 years after that, it's been a rude awakening. So yeah, Brandon Cooks isn't really the guy now. I will say he was still I don't know, maybe a good 3rd receiver in 2023, but that might even be pushing it. Yeah, he's just gonna be here again, come back to his old stopping grounds, I guess. But Means, I'm not gonna call him a scrub because that's just not really fair on him. But this guy doesn't get open. It's pretty simple like that. His release package is SHIT, and also yeah, he's just not a very good player. But we'll see what happens this year. Cedric Wilson, I don't know what happened to him. He got signed by the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken, back after he had a pretty encouraging 2021. And he has just done absolutely nothing since then. He has decent body control. He's got okay hands. That's about it, though, because, I mean, he's nothing really more than Traquan Smith. Speaking of him, where the hell did he go? I don't know. Outside of that, though, Kevin Austin, maybe he'll do something. Dante Pettis is a scrub. I'm just sorry, that's kind of what he's been for a while now. Mason Tippin, we'll see. He did some stuff last year. And Donovan Peoples-Jones maybe he'll make the roster. With that said, looking at this receiving position, I'll give them a C+. That might be a little bit nice, maybe a little bit harsh. But again, Chris Olave, I might even give them a C. I think I will. Guys, the problem with the receiving room is the fact that you got a guy like Chris Olave, who I don't think he'll play. I don't know if he'll ever be he shouldn't be playing football. Let's just put it as it is. Rashid Shaheed, he got injured last year. He hasn't proven himself as a true number 2. Very interesting, though. After that, it's just a bunch of who the hell knows what. So, for that reason, I'm sticking it at a C, which, again, admittedly is pretty freaking low. But, guys, I can't like tell you guys Chris Olave should be playing football right now, and Rashid Shaheed and coming off the injury and stuff isn't really that too proven yet. All right, we're tight end. Maybe the strongest position on this offense, probably not though. Juwan Johnson's kind of an average tight end for me at this point. I mean, he's gonna give you some stuff as a receiver, pretty underrated production overall the past 3 years. But he isn't a great blocker, and yeah, he can break tackles a little bit. He's got a decent underneath route blanket, and the reason I say a route blanket is because that's kind of what he does. He kind of blankets the middle of the field. But outside of that, I know Juwan Johnson's kind of an average guy for me. Taysom Hill, he does his own thing, but he's 34 now. Like, you can't expect him to be throwing up. I mean, yeah, he had 6 touchdowns on the ground last year. I did not remember him having a 75-yarder. You can't expect him to do it. How did he have 500? That's actually crazy. But, yeah, don't expect Taysom Hill to be that guy. But still, he's going to do off of this offense. Foster Moreau, brick hands. He's done just absolutely nothing ever. Really just not good. But he's got to get to a new team, right, guys? Jack Stoll, yeah, he's not great either. I mean, I guess he can block. It's probably the best I could give him. But anyway, yeah, we look at tight end. It's going to be a C. I mean, there's guys for sure, and there's interesting things going on, but, like, it's not ideal. That's going to be 10 points at tight end, and yeah. Let's get into the O-line, guys. I'm really looking forward to this. All right, Saints offensive line. This is a group that has, admittedly, some pretty darn good players at times, but, like, guys, it's not great. Calvin Banks, I don't think is going to have the greatest rookie season just because I don't know, again, in the scheme that this offense is going to be in. It's really going to better him too much because he's going to be asked to make a lot of big-time, like, 4 or 5 second sustained blocks, and again, especially against when there's been times where he struggled with those power rushers and even the speed guys off the edge that will get into his grill. That is something I think that could hurt him this season. He might put up some pretty atrocious pressure rates against, but at the same time, he'll be a solid run blocker, and I think he'll figure it out. Barry Wesley, oof, yeah, this is not a guy I don't want to see on the field. I'll be honest with you guys, just no. Trevor Penning, yeah, he's probably been the worst player in football. No, I'm joking. He hasn't been that bad, but he's been absolutely awful since he came in the league 2 years ago, or is it 3 years ago now? I think it's been 2 years, right? Mark Casual. No, it's been 2 years, right? It's got to have been 2 years, right? Yeah, no, he's been in the league for freaking 3 seasons. I'm a casual, guys. No, Trevor Penning's awful. He's got a bad attitude. He doesn't really look like he knows what he's doing, and yeah, he's just horrible. Dylan Radunz, he's really struggled so far in his career, but I mean, he doesn't have a bad attitude. At least you get that. Eric Boy, he's been a great center. I don't think he had his best season though last year. We'll see what he can do this year. Still very underrated. Will Clapp, they play for the Chargers. I don't really remember much of his film there, but I don't know. He'll figure it out. Cesar Ruiz, very average player, but again, I wouldn't say he'll figure it out. He has figured it out. He'll be, again, inconsistent at times. Again, you're not going to really expect too much out of him. Landon Young, solid backup. He's come in and he's struggled a little bit, but at the same time, he does handle some of these quicker interior rushers pretty well. Talisi Fuaga, overall, I liked what I saw as a rookie. Still need to turn those flashes into consistencies, as a lot of guys need to. Josh Ball, he's there. Nick Saldivari, same thing. Anyways, this offensive line, I'm gonna give him a good old D+. That might be really low, but like, yeah, D+. You can't have Trevor Penning starting. That's gonna be 6 points. Then we add that up to the overall grade. It's not gonna be good. 27-15, 10, 6. 58 points. That might be a little low. Do I give him a C-? I might be nice here. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to give him a C-. No, it's going to we're going to stick it at C-. I think that's a little more fair. We're going to be nice. That's going to be 8 points. And then when we add that to the total, we're just going to say that's 60 points there because I can do some mental math. I mean, maybe. Who knows? 60 points. That's going to be a D-. I'm going to give him an F because, womp womp. All right. No, I'll give him a D-. That's a little more fair. That's all I got there because, I mean, the rest of the offense isn't actually, like, completely horse. So, yeah. Anyway, time for the defense. And for the Saints defense, yeah, this is good. We'll start with the D-line. It's awful. I'm just completely honest with you guys. Devon Gotcha is probably just an average player at this point. I mean, he's pretty productive against the run overall, but he's been an absolute donut as a pass rusher since he left Miami. And, yeah, that's about it for me on him. Again, honestly, I wouldn't even say he's an average guy. He's probably a little bit of average because now that I think about it, he made some really, really eye-popping plays as a run defender. So, yeah, he's a really quality guy there. But he's a nose tackle, so, like, only so much you can do. Cam Jordan's washed. I'm sorry, that's just kind of how it is for him now. Kalen Saunders, once in a while he'll get a pressure, but that's probably the best he'll do for you because he's not a great run defender, and he was pretty bad last year overall. Nathan Shepard is horrible. Vernon Broughton might never get a snap in the league. No, he will. He's just not the greatest, though. Wait, can we bounce that out? No, we're not going to do that. Brian Breezy. Yeah, probably the best guy in this D-line overall. He gets pressure for sure. I mean, like, what was it, 7.5 sacks last season? Still needs to work as a run defender because he's been pretty bad so far. I'm being brutally honest with you on that. Outside of that, though, again, he's got 2 or 3 moves that I'm pretty confident in him being able to use successfully this year. But I don't even know if he'll really have a chance because, I mean, it's rough here. It's going to get a D+, I'd probably say. That might be a little bit nice because, I mean, Devon Gottschall is good enough for that and, like, Brian Breezy. So we're going to say a D+. Again, that might be still a little bit low, but, like, it's not good. It's not good. That's just probably the best thing I can say. 6 points. That might be a little low, but, like, we're going to work with that because, like, Brian Breezy is the only one getting you pressure. So we're going to stick with that. All right. Outside of that, we look at the linebacking core. It's still pretty good. Demario Davis is still an elite player. Definitely top 5 guy. He's still a great playmaker. The only thing I have to say is he's a little less aggressive than we might have saw even back to 2023. His tackling, I think, is a little less consistent as well. In coverage, he's always been really opportunistic and instinctive. But, yeah, I don't think it was his best year last year, but, you know, still the same guy. Pete Werner, this guy's really good. At times. That's probably the big asterisk there. I don't really know what to tell you guys other than the fact that he's been very good matching in coverage. And just the fact that, again, he's very just smart is just huge out there. Very good duo with Demario Davis. Jalen Ford, I hope he gets a shot. Danny Stutzman's better, though. And, you know, get Nafai Sewell, who still hasn't really done much. Again, I ranted about Noah Sewell in the Bears, but he's different. So, yeah. Anyway, though, this linebacking core, I got to give probably an A-. I mean, it's really solid. It's definitely the best part of this team. And it's not close. So that's going to be 9, 18, 24, right? 20, he's 8, 27, what is that, 30, 30. That makes sense. Yeah, it's not even close. It has to be 30. Pass rush, edge rushers. Actually pretty solid. Carol Granderson's absolutely not a number 1 guy, but last season the pressure rate and the volume that he had was actually very impressive. Again, nowhere near the same actual consistency we saw in 2023, but not pressure rate. The pressures were pretty similar. Again, maybe not as effective as a run defender overall as well, but still a very solid guy. Again, I don't think he really has the upside or is actually a guy you can count as a number 1 edge rusher, though. Chase Young is the guy you can still see that. Again, there are times where he looks like that. Last year, very solid year overall. Again, this is probably more of the stuff we're going to see. Again, he kind of flopped with San Fran after a pretty strong start with the Commanders in 2023, then got traded. But again, still has been a pretty big disappointment overall in his career. But last year, solid numbers. That's what I like to see. I don't really think he still has that potential because of how talented he is, but it's becoming less and less likely he'll come out and throw up a 15-sack season. Fadil Diggs is not good. Jonah Williams is a freaking 3-tech. What the hell is he doing out here? Isaiah Foskey, we'll see. Chris Rumpf, he was on the freaking Vikings. Yeah, holy crap. And then Desheen Davis is, oh my god, he's so just not explosive. That's not really his fault, so what am I talking about there? But Fadil Diggs is probably the most interesting guy here out of Syracuse. Very strong dude, but just isn't really too athletic, so that's what I'll say on him. Edge rushers aren't too bad. I'll probably say their pass rush overall is going to get a C-ish. I think I'm going to say a C because they're not going to get much in the interior. Again, I like Brian Breezy a lot, but how much is he actually going to be able to do with all these other guys there? That might be a little lot. I think we'll give it a C+. They'll produce something. So that's going to be 24 points there, and then we get in the secondary now. All right, looking at the secondary, we'll start at the cornerback room, which is not good. I'm just going to put it out there right now. Kool-Aid McKinstry, overall probably give you average level play last year. But again, he's really just a man press guy at this point. He doesn't really play well off. And off as well as standard, but the fact that, again, he in zone coverage, he's just a complete non-factor, and his tackling was pretty porous overall last year. Is definitely a concern there, but again, he was solid in man press, so again, as long as you keep him there, I guess that's something. But that's going to definitely hurt his development and maybe his overall value right now. But again, he's not going to free agency for a while, so we don't have to worry about that. Alontae Taylor, I liked him a lot as a rookie despite his inconsistencies in 2022. 2023, the rating was pretty bad. Last year was a lot more conservative and detailed, and he actually had a pretty good year overall. Some people would say otherwise, but I like where he's coming from. And again, he's actually become a pretty good playmaker for them. But overall, still a guy that has a lot of stuff to work on, especially with his technique. Because holy crap, bro, stop getting beat on those 2 cuts. Anyway, though, Ugo Amadi in the slot provided some pretty serviceable, I wouldn't say depth, but play from them last year. Again, he's still a guy that's never really been that great in his career, though, to be honest with you. But he'll definitely give them something. Again, as long as he can maybe become a little bit more of a playmaker from the slot. Anyway, the depth there, I don't want to talk about any of these guys because they all suck. Rico Payton is burnt toast. I'm sorry, that's just simple truth on that. Not Jonah Williams. Isaac Yiadom, he played for the Broncos. He was bad. I think he played for the Giants even. He was bad there too. And yeah, Quincy Riley, he might be able to turn into something, but probably not. They have no depth at corner, and this group overall has a lot of inconsistencies. I'm going to stick with them at probably a C+. That might be, again, give them a B- too, but again, I want to see another year out of these guys. But overall, weren't too bad. Safeties. Justin Reed's a really solid player. Last year with the Chiefs? Yeah, I think it was. There we go. Serviceable play. I still don't think it was as good as his best season was 2022 probably overall. Never been great in coverage. I don't think he ever will be. I mean, he's 28 at this point. But yeah, solid run supporter, more than a box safety. Again, that's what they had Jonathan Abram a couple years ago. Pretty good there. Outside that, though, Jordan Howden's a guy that I really think will be a really good dime piece for them because they can move him around in a lot of different ways. The biggest issue with him is he's just not going to be a guy you want to play man coverage in, so we'll see how they work that out with him. But definitely, again, a good chess piece for them. Jonas Sanker's a guy that could get on the field. JT Gray, maybe. Terrell Burgess, lucky to make the roster. Tyrann Mathieu isn't the same player by any means that we even saw 2 or 3 years ago, but he's still a guy that'll give you solid play at the end of the day. And, yeah, he'll play a little, definitely doesn't have even considerable the same range that he used to. He'll still give you something. For that reason, I'll give this safety room a B-. That might be, I think that's fair. That's going to be 9, 18, and 21 points there. And then when we add that up, overall, we're going to get 6, 24, 12, and 21. Yeah, that's going to give us 93 points. So the defense gives out something respectable. That's going to put them in the C- tier. Honestly, that's probably where they belong because they have some good players, but like how many are actually there? After that, though, let's look at the overall things, and then then we get to the overall grade. All right, yeah, Saints special teams unit. I'm honestly don't really care here. Matthew Hayball has a lot to prove as a punter, from what I've heard. I'm not gonna actually act like I've watched much of his punting. The numbers don't look bad though, so we're just gonna go with that. Charlie Smith, PMO there, but I mean that's probably just gonna change the grade right there. Blake Grupe, I don't really know what to think about him because like as a rookie he was objectively bad, but he's pretty freaking talented. He's been again one of the better kickers overall from deep. Yeah, I'm talking like he's a freaking NBA player. But yeah, he's a solid kicker for sure. Rashid Shaheed, really good returner. Was on the field and against Zach Wood. We'll see what he can do this year. And then overall, special teams unit usually is pretty solid. I'm gonna get it a C though, cause like, yeah, 5 points. Depth, quarterback depth is an F, obviously. Running back depth, I'd probably give a D. So I don't know, we move it to a D-, I guess. Receiver depth, yeah, it's an F. No, is it an F? I think it is an F. It's an F. Yeah, we're probably still at an F there. Tight end depth, I give a C+, so I don't know, we're up to a D. O-line depth, I'd probably give a D+, so if we say that's a D+, that's going to be, what do we say, we're at a D? We're probably still at a D. D for the offense on depth. Defensive line, I'd give that a, objectively, Brian Brzee probably who's he going to play? I think they'll keep Cam Jordan out there because of how much they're paying him. So let's say Kalen Sanders gets, who's actually getting paid a decent amount, Kalen Saunders. He's getting paid a decent amount. Neither of these guys are really that good, but his depth pieces, I think they're okay. Overall, that probably brings them up to a C- maybe. That might be fair. So a C- so far on the D-line. Edge rusher depth, I'd probably give a D-. It's pretty freaking bad. Yeah, I think a D- is fair. That's going to probably keep them at a D+. Linebacker depth, there's something there, so I'd probably keep it at a C. That's probably going to bring them up to a C-. Cornerback depth's an F. We're probably down to a D at this point. And then we go safety depth, I'd probably give a B, so we might be up to a C-. A C-, when we say a D, is probably a D+ for the Saints depth, which is just not optimal. So that's going to be 12 points. Identity! Saints offensively. If Alvin Kamara in fact gets hurt and Chris Olave decides to retire, hopefully he does. Yeah, to be honest with you there. They're going to be cooked. That's as simple as that. There's a lot of guys that I can see getting traded as well. It's not looking bright for this offense. I'd probably give them a D on their identity. Defensively, yeah, it's a little better because, I mean, they have some good players. And, again, Demario Davis will figure it out there. But probably not too much better, especially with what's going on. I'd probably say a C-. With that said, though, we're probably going to stick them at a D+ for their identity as well. Again, not much going for the Saints here. 15 points. Overall grade is now. And, yeah, let's just do this here. All right, we got 5, 12, 15, 93, and I think we have 60 for the offense. That's going to put them at 185 points. I'd be shocked if anyone breaks that, to be honest with you guys. That's a pretty low barrier. 185, D+. That's probably where they belong. Is that, like, on the barrier? No, that's in there. Yeah, this is kind of a bad roster, guys. When you get an F at quarterback, you're probably going to sit in the D tier, if I had to guess. Again, they're the only team that I'll probably assume that'll be in the D tier. Again, so far, we've done a lot of teams so far, so yeah, I don't really think that's happening. But yeah, Saints fans, expect to be horrible, but maybe something happens. Again, best case, Tyler Shook actually proved himself, but don't see that happening. Anyway, though, trade your guys you can trade. Hopefully, Chris Olave retires for his sake, and yeah, good luck, Saints. You're gonna need a lot of it. No, I'm joking. Yeah, actually, generally though, yeah, I hope they have a decent season. Like, got Demario Davis and all that. Anyway, all I got for the Saints, and yeah, here's a hint. The next team is very obvious. Yeah.
Then they said they charged Detroit a timeout, an injury timeout. They didn't have any timeouts. is it. One last play for the Lions and for the Browns. Royce gets it in. They win it. Cleveland wins it with a stop. 1 yard to gain.